So let's talk about what I call the 3 key levels out of these 5 levels of leadership, the 3 key levels of influence or leadership. Now, I've already said, number 1 is given to you. Number 5 is automatic. In other words, the company gives you level number 1. The people give you level number 5. But you've got to do numbers 2, 3, and 4 well. Level number 2 is the permission level. That's your ability to connect with people. Level number 3 is the production level. That's your ability to lead people and the organization. And level number 4 is the people development level. In other words, your ability to grow and train people. Let's take a moment and let's make sure that we get all these levels under our belt. Let's talk first of all about level number 2, the permission level. In other words, your ability to connect with people. Fred Smith said it well. He said, leadership is getting people to work for you when they're not obligated. I was doing a President's Day for Johnson Controls a few years ago. They basically brought in companies that they work with, and they take and give a day to the presidents of all these companies, a leadership day. And so they asked me to come in. In fact, they asked me to come in and teach the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership to about 150 CEOs and presidents. And I'll never forget this, because we were in a question and answer period, and one of the presidents of the company raised his hand and said, John, I got a question to ask you. He said, I have about 5 or 6 really good leaders. And he said, I'm trying to get ready to bring one of them up to a whole new position. And he said, I don't know which one is the best leader. He said, do you have any suggestions of how I can know who my best of the 6 leaders would be? I said, yes, I do. I said, what would happen if you took those 6 leaders and went into your community and put each one of them in charge of a volunteer community project? In other words, said, I want you for the next 6 months to lead this community project. I want you to lead this one. And they had to be volunteers. People weren't paid. It had to be leading volunteers. I said, here's what I want you to know. The best leader of the 6 will be the one who can most successfully lead volunteers. Let me put it this way. You never know what kind of a leader you are until you lead people who don't have to follow. Oh, so many times we use the paycheck and we use the leverage, and people say, well, okay, I'll do what you want me to do. And basically, you're not leading them, you're controlling them. But see, when you lead volunteers, when you lead people that don't have to follow you, and you can lead them successfully, you become absolutely huge as far as your ability to produce as a leader. Well, level number 2, the permission level, is exactly what I'm talking about. I remember last year I had the privilege of the King family asked me to speak for Martin Luther King's birthday and honoring him on his national holiday. And I remember as I was able to do that, what an honor it was for me to do that. And I explained to not only the audience, but the TV audience all across America, I said, what made him such a great leader is he created a movement out of people that didn't have position. They didn't have titles. They were just people that were hurting, and people, obviously, that had been taken advantage of. And I said, he became a great leader because he led by permission. He felt their needs, he saw their hurts, and he related, and he connected with them, and he took it from the bottom clear up to the top. That's what good leaders can do. Let me give you 2 connecting thoughts on level number 2, permission level. First connecting thought is this. Connecting with people begins with caring for people. If you want to connect with people, you got to care for people. Let me put it this way. You can love people without leading them, but you cannot lead people without loving them. What I have found is that many organizations fail to understand this principle of connecting, and they have leaders who have not connected relationally with people. Look in your notes at the difference between high achievers and low achievers. I think this is awesome. This was a survey in the Wall Street Journal of 16,000 executives. They studied 16,000 executives, and this is what they came up with. High achievers cared about people as well as profits, where low achievers were preoccupied with their own security. In other words, boy, I just got to keep my job. High achievers viewed subordinates optimistically, where low achievers showed a basic distrust for subordinates. Are you seeing the difference? High achievers sought advice. They were listeners. Low achievers, they avoided communication. In fact, you know what low achievers did? They relied on policy manuals. Whenever you have a leader in an organization who basically is saying, we've got to rely on the policy manual, you do not have a leader. Notice the difference between high achievers and low achievers. Let me give you a second connecting thought that fits in with level number 2, the permission level. The second connecting thought is this one. Connecting with people continues by communicating with people. In other words, you keep connecting when you keep communicating. And I have found a very simple little method that I've used for years that helps me to keep connected and keep communicating with people. It's what I call the help method. All great communicators do the following 4 things to keep connected with their people. The letter H stands for hope. Very simply stated, they offer hope to their people. The letter E stands for encouragement. They come around and encourage them with their words and with their actions. The letter L stands for love. People really know that they care about them. And the letter P stands for personal value. Great leaders really increase the personal value of the people that were with them. The permission level is a huge level. It's one of people skills, it's one of relationships, it's one of connecting and getting along with people. Perhaps as we're talking about these levels of influence, this is your weak area. Then I would encourage you, spend some time with people that are relationally strong. Begin to develop a plan, a process for you to become better in this area, because here's what I know. Until people like you, they won't follow you. So you've got to connect with them relationally. Level number 2, the permission level, talks all about that. Let's talk about level number 3. The third level is the production level. And the production level talks about your ability to lead people and the organization. Now we're talking about results. And let me explain this when I start talking to you about results. Henry Ford was exactly right when he said, you can't build a reputation on what you're going to do. I know all kind of people that come around and say, well, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. Now, I want to tell you something. You can't build your reputation on what you're going to do. You build your reputation on what you're doing. Peter Drucker one time said there are 2 types of people. There are some people that are into results, and there are some people that are into reasons why they haven't produced results. I've always said the number 1 characteristic of a potential leader is the ability to make things happen. In fact, I always tell people if you're looking for a potential leader, the first thing you do is you go find somebody that can make something happen. And let me explain to you why. If you can't make something happen for yourself, you'll never be able to make something happen for someone else. You see, level 3 is the make something happen level. Level number 3 is basically you produce, you accomplish something. You bring home the bacon. You have results. In your notes, I have a statement that I want you to see. The statement says, your accomplishments are much more vital to your success than your seniority. When a recent survey asked executives and personnel directors what would be the most influential factor in evaluating an employee for promotion, 96% said specific accomplishments. 4% said seniority. So don't bank on your success being the fact that you've been with the company a long time. You've got to produce something. You've got to be able to accomplish something. You've got to be able to bring results to your organization. I love the cartoon I have in your notes. It says, we run our business like a game show. Produce and you come back, don't produce, and we have some lovely parting gifts for you. One of my favorite things I've ever had in the area of leadership and production is the article in your workbook called Sell, Not Spell. Hang with me. Are you ready? A newly hired traveling salesman wrote his first sales report to the home office. It so stunned the brass in the sales department because it was obvious that the new salesman was ignorant. Here's what he wrote. I seen this outfit, which they ain't never bought a dime's worth of nothing from us, and I sold them some goods, and I'm now going to Chicago. Before the man could be given the heave-ho by the sales manager, along came this letter from Chicago. I come here and sold them $500,000. Fearful if he did, and afraid if he didn't fire the ignorant salesman, the sales manager dumped the problem in the lap of the president. In the following morning, the ivory-towered sales department members were amazed to see posted on the bulletin board above the two letters written by the ignorant salesman, this memo from the president. We've been spending too much time trying to spell instead of trying to sell. Let's watch those sales. I want everybody should read these letters from Gooch, who is on the road doing a great job for us, and you should go out and do like he done. Says it all, doesn't it, huh? Walt Whitman said it best. He said, there's a man in the world who never gets turned down. Whenever he chances to stray, he gets the glad hand in the populous town, or out where the farmers make hay. He is greeted with pleasure on deserts of sand and deep in the aisles of the woods. Wherever he goes, there is a welcoming hand. He's the man who delivers the goods. Level number 3 is the production level, the ability to produce. Now, you can relate well to people on level 2. You can produce on level 3. The third important key level of these middle 5 levels is level number 4. That's the people development level. Your ability to grow and train people. In my 17 indisputable laws of teamwork, law number 4 is the law of Mount Everest. And the law of Mount Everest says, as the challenge escalates, the need for teamwork elevates. I think there are 3 Mount Everest questions you need to ask yourself. 3 that I need to ask myself. If I'm going to climb Mount Everest, well, here are the 3 questions I've got to ask. Question number 1, what's my dream? Because it's possible that you don't have a Mount Everest dream. You know, in Atlanta, there's a little hill. It's called Stone Mountain. We call it a mountain. It's not really a mountain. It's a kind of just a bald-headed hill is what it really is. It's a naked hill. That's what it is. Bald-headed. It's not a big hill. Now, you see, if I want to climb Stone Mountain, I don't need to develop a team. I just basically get my shorts and sneakers on, and I go over there in about an hour and a half, I get to the top of Stone Mountain. It's not really a big deal. It's just a hike. Now, if I'm going to climb Mount Everest, that's a whole different issue. You see, I've got to ask myself those 3 Mount Everest questions. Question number 1 is, what is my dream? And question number 2 is, who is on my team? And the reason I need to ask the question, who's on my team, is because my team is going to determine my dream. Let me give you an example of a dream that will never be fulfilled. An example of a dream that will never be fulfilled is when you have like a 9 dream and a 2 team. Now the 2 team can look at the mountain, they can talk about the mountain, they can even put the mountain on their refrigerator. But they'll never get there. A 2 team doesn't climb a 9 dream. In fact, here's the way it should work. Your team has to be equal with the level of your dream. If you've got a 7 dream, you've got to have a 7 team. If you've got a 9 dream, you've got to have a 9 team. Your team has to be as good as your dream, or your dream will never be accomplished. So, I've got to ask myself the question, what's my dream? And I've got to ask myself the question, who's on my team? And most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time, you know what you're going to find? You're going to find your dream is bigger than your team. That's just the way it works. Because in the beginning you develop a dream and you're working on that dream, and then all of a sudden you realize that you got to put a team together, and the team you put together isn't nearly going to be the size of your dream, so you got to develop them. That's why you have to develop people. You've got to raise your people up to the level of your dream. But here's what I have found. Usually the dream is bigger than the team. Almost always. Which brings me to question number 3. What should my dream team look like? Get a picture of not only your dream, get a picture of your dream team. In fact, I would say if you're only going to have one picture, have a picture of your dream team. Because your dream team is what's going to deliver the goods for you. And it's at level number 4 that you begin to develop people. You see, again, if I were taking notes and I was looking at the 5 levels of leadership and I was understanding that level number 4 was people development, I began asking myself the question, what am I doing to develop people? What am I doing to build my team? How am I selecting them? How am I recruiting them? What am I pouring into them? How much time, how much money, how much energy am I investing into my dream team? Another one of the laws of the 17 indisputable laws of teamwork is law number 11. It's called the law of the bench. And the law of the bench says great teams have great depth. And you see, the future of a team can be predicted by 3 things. And I have found all you need to do is see 3 things to predict the future of any team. Number 1 is recruitment. Simply stated, who's joining the team. Number 2 is training. The question needs to be asked, are the team members being developed? And the third issue is losses. Who's leaving the team? You know, I got to ask myself who's coming in, who's going out. And what I found about all organizations is this. All organizations is like sitting in the lobby of a busy hotel with a revolving door. People are coming in and people are going out. People are coming in and people are going out. In any company, any organization, that's exactly what happens. People are being hired and people are being let go. People are leaving, people are coming. It's just an in and out quick. The question is not are people coming in and people going out. I run people all the time and say, well, we're losing people. Well, sure, you're losing people, you're gaining people. That's the way it is. Here's the question. The question is not, are you losing people, are you gaining people? That's not the question. The question is, who are you gaining? And who are you losing? Let's look at our people that we're recruiting and look at the people that we're losing. For example, let me tell you a company that's in trouble. A company is in trouble when 3s and 4s are coming in and 8s and 9s are going out. You're in deep weeds. A company is in good shape when 8s and 9s are coming in and 3s and 4s are going out. So the question is not, are you losing people? The question is, who are you losing? The question is not, are you recruiting people? The question is, who are you gaining? Who are you recruiting? So when I look at the future of a team, I ask myself, who are they recruiting? How are they training? And who's leaving them? That tells me all I need to know about what kind of a future a company has. So if I were sitting listening to the 5 levels of leadership lecture, knowing that I wanted to get to level number 4, knowing that if I can get to level number 4, I'm going to be a great leader. If I realized that level number 4 really probably held the key to my success as a leader, the ability to develop people, I would very carefully listen to these next 5 minutes, because these are going to be the key minutes to getting you to level number 4. What are the keys to finding and keeping good people? Number 1 is recruit them strategically. Don't just recruit people. This isn't like a lottery. Don't just open the door and say, you all come. What I found is when you open the door and say, you all come, the wrong people always come. You have to recruit people strategically. What I mean by that is you have to know what you're looking for, and you have to know where to look. Did you get that? You have to know what you're looking for, and you have to know where to look. I have found that if you really want to get a winner, if you really want to recruit a 9 or a 10, you got to find somebody that already is doing a job very well and loving it very much. And you got to bring them on your team. You got to go find them. The person who's outside the door waiting for a job is probably not the one you want. You have to recruit them strategically. Number 2, you have to develop them continually. Remember the law of process and the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership. The law of process says leaders develop daily, not in a day. And what I'm saying here is that if you and I are going to really develop our people, it's not like one program, one time, or one event at one place. No. It's a commitment to develop people on a continual basis. Here's what I know. I have been training and developing people for over 20 years. It's never stopped. And in my organizations where I've literally developed and trained hundreds of leaders, many times I've been asked, have you trained all your people? Have you developed all your people? Can I say, you never train all your people. You never develop. It never is over because you're recruiting new people. And if you're recruiting new people, you got to train them. I've never had somebody come in and say, already trained, thank you very much. Already developed, thank you very much. Got this one down. You don't have to work hard for me. No. Not in my lifetime. Not in my lifetime. So you have to recruit people strategically. You have to, secondly, develop them continually. Thirdly, you have to place them correctly. You've got to place them correctly. You've got to understand that the key to getting people to be successful is to put them where their strengths are. A lot of people are not successful not because they couldn't be successful. A lot of people are not successful because they've never had a leader know what their strengths are and strategically place them where they can maximize their abilities, gifts, talents, and opportunities. That's very key. And number 4, the fourth thing that you and I want to do is we want to value them highly. Remember, people are your only appreciable asset. So you got to pour your time in them. They're worth it. They have the ability to make you bigger and have the ability to make you better. Now, the last thing in your lesson notes, in the 5 levels of leadership, is I have placed for you each level. And I've done my best to tell you what to do on that level to be successful so you can go to the next level. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. How do you grow in influence? One level at a time. So I want you to look at this on your own and know that on level number 1, there are a half a dozen things that you can do to be successful. And if you do that well, then you can go to level number 2 and you again follow through with your game plan there. And if you do that well, you can go to level number 3. And I have, again, successful characteristics at every level. I'm just trying to help you to know what you've got to put under your belt, what you have to do well to not only exceed, but how you can go to the next level. It's a very practical step-by-step process that I want you to work out. And on step number 4, the same. And then we finally have step number 5. All these levels are key. But if you would allow me on level number 4, because my passion is get you to the people development level, at level number 4, I would like to say the following things and just read this to you and comment in a couple of places. The first successful characteristic at this level, number 4, is to place top priority on developing people. They are your most valuable asset that you have. In other words, if I could walk into your life right now, if I could walk out through the people in this audience here today, and I could ask you one question, I wouldn't ask you one question because I'd have to ask you 2. Because the 2 questions I would ask you is, number 1, what's your plan to develop yourself? And question number 2 is, what's your plan to develop people? Now, you have to develop yourself first because you cannot give what you do not have, and the way to grow people is to grow yourself. So start with yourself. That's not being selfish. It's being realistic. Get on a personal growth plan for yourself. Continually listen to leadership tapes and watch leadership videos and read leadership books and continually absorb those things in leadership, because here's what I want you to know. You've got to learn how to go from one level to another, and as you grow from one level to the other, here's the good news. If I have grown to the people development level number 4, if I have grown to this level myself, here's what I want you to know. If I have grown there, I can grow people there. If I am there, I can take you with me. I cannot take you where I've never been. So if I don't know how to develop people, let's say I'm just good at relationships, I never produce, I never develop people, I'm just good at love. Can I tell you something? My people can go no higher than I can go. They can go no higher. If I'm on level number 2, people will only go to level number 2 under my leadership. So, very simple. Your growth determines the growth of your people. So the first question I'd ask you is, what's your plan for developing yourself? And the second question I would ask you is, what's your plan for developing your people? And at level number 4, place top priority on developing people. The second thing that will help you to be successful at this level is to be a model that others can follow. Be an example. Number 3, pour your leadership efforts into the top 20% because they're going to give you 80% of the return. Number 4, expose your leaders to growth opportunities. Training seminars such as this where you can help them to learn more about leadership. Number 4, equip leaders to equip others. And here's why I wanted to go to level number 4. Because before I close this teaching on the 5 levels of leadership, I want to make sure that you have down what I call the 5-step equipping process. How do you equip people? And how do you know that you've equipped someone successfully? Step 1, I do it. Step 2, I do it. You're with me. In other words, you're observing, you're watching me. It's show and tell time. I'm showing you how to do this. Step 3, you do it, and I'm with you. Now the baton has switched hands. In step number 2, I'm doing it, and you're watching me, taking notes, asking questions. In step number 3, you're doing it, and I'm watching you. I'm asking you questions, making sure you understand all the things that you're doing and performing. Step number 4, you do it. Too many times at step number 4, we think we've equipped somebody. We say, oh, good, now they're doing it on their own. No, 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 no. You're still incomplete of equipping a person until you get to step number 5. For step number 5 is you do it and someone is with you. You have never truly equipped somebody until the person you have equipped has equipped somebody. You are training people to train people. You are developing people to develop people. You are leading people to lead people. It always goes at least 2 generations. The 5 levels of leadership. What level are you on? What level do you want to be on? How many people are on the highest level that you're on with you right now? Who do you need to take up to those levels? Study this video. Spend time in the 5 levels of influence. Ask yourself these kind of questions. Put names on every level that you're on so that you know who's on level 3 with you and who's on level 2 with you and who's on level 1 with you. And remember, you don't lead them the same. You lead them according to the level that you're on with them. And enjoy the trip. Because your goal and your aim is not to get to level number 5 by yourself. Your goal and aim is to take someone with you. Nothing's more fun than to get to the top with somebody else and enjoy the view together. Thank you very much.